Let's talk about the best credit card setup. And in today's conversation, I want to talk to you about credit card combos that you need to explore at this point. So let me give you an overview so you have a clear idea that you need to follow if you are trying to have the best credit card combos. 2 rewards credit cards can be better than 1, that's for sure, as long as you are prepared for a little extra legwork to maximize those rewards, right? It's all about, there has to be movement. If you are trying to combine credit cards, you need to think about movements all the time. The right combination will depend on your spending habits, but in general, your options include 2 things. So you can have a bonus category credit card. So these cards earn a higher rewards rate, often 3% to 5% back on specific kinds of purchases like food, travel, gas, groceries, but a lower rate, usually 1% on everything else. And then you have a flat rate rewards credit card. So these cards earn the same rewards rate on all purchases, regardless of category. So the industry standard is 1.5% back on everything you buy, though higher flat rates do exist. The thing is, you don't have to settle for either or. Why not get both? But again, the thing is that you need to understand that the choice has to be in sync with your routine, with your lifestyle. And so a high rewards rate on the spending you do the most of, right? It has to be, this is kind of cool. So you have that on one part, and you have a decent rate on anything else that doesn't fall into those categories. So here in today's conversation, I want to share with you some of our favorite pairings, some of our favorite pairings you need to think about. So the thing is, before we actually talk about anything, should you consider combining credit cards at all? The answer is yes. If any of the following applies to you, combining credit cards might be in your best interest. You have high interest rates. If your credit cards have high interest rates, transfer into a single card with a lower interest rate might save you money. That's number 1. And if you want to simplify debt management, so instead of having to manage and pay multiple accounts, you will only have to manage and pay for one credit card, making it easy to keep track of your balances and your monthly payments. So this is kind of cool. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really wonderful to have you here. In today's conversation, we are going to talk about the best credit card setup. We're going to talk about rewards. We're going to talk about rewards, but we need to keep an eye on APRs. So here's the approach I want you to really think about. So let's first talk about our pairing for Cashback. So when we talk about Cashback, we have 2 wonderful cards that you will love. First of all, we have the Discovery Cashback and the City Double Cashback. Those are the 2. So doubling up on Cashback credit cards can yield hundreds of dollars in rewards annually, if done right though. And the thing is that the pair up should match your lifestyle too. So the $0 annual fee Discovery Cashback offers 5% cashback on up to $1,500 in combined spending in bonus categories that rotate each quarter when you activate. Remember that you need to, so those spending categories are rotating categories. All other purchases earn only 1%. In the past, bonus categories have included things like gas stations, restaurants, grocery stores, and wholesale clubs. For anything that doesn't fall into a bonus category, you could use a flat rate credit card so you don't have to settle for just 1% back on those purchases. So this is kind of cool. And our excellent choice among flat rate cards is the City Double Cash card. And so this card actually offers a 2% cashback on purchases. So when you really think about it, you have 2% on cashback on purchases and 1% back when you buy and 1% back when you pay your purchases off. So to recap, this is a great combo for cashback because you would use the Discovery Cashback for purchases that fall under a bonus category, and you would swipe or dip the City Double Cash card for everything else. Now, the thing is that this sort of combo, this pair up should match your lifestyle. So the question is, do you currently have a lifestyle that allows you to actually spend on things like gas stations, restaurants, grocery stores, and wholesale clubs? I mean, this is something that has to match. Otherwise, the 5%, you're not going to be able to gather some rewards on that. And remember that we're talking about 5% cashback on up to $1,500 in combined spending in bonus categories that rotate each quarter. So those categories rotate each quarter. So you have to really make sure that your family spending is in sync with what Discover It is offering. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about the best credit card setup, and we're talking about the best combos you can think about. I want to talk to you about our pairing for frequent travelers. So we have two wonderful cards here, and those are Chase credit cards. So the first one is the Chase Freedom Flex and the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. Let me quickly break it down for you. So the Chase Freedom Flex earns 5% in rotating bonus categories throughout the year. So those are rotating. Again, I want to insist on that. So 5% and up to the quarterly maximum of $1,500. But you got to opt in each quarter to get those earnings, which is really, it requires a little bit of work, which means you got to have reminders. You got to have apps that tell you have to do this. I mean, but it is totally possible. So you have 5% back in rotating bonus categories throughout the year up to the quarterly maximum of $1,500 and 1% back on all other non-bonus category purchases. So that's for the Chase Freedom Flex Fresh card. Then you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. This card actually has a $95 annual fee. The card offers 5 points per dollar spent on travel booked through Chase, 3 points per dollar spent on eligible dining, select streaming services, and select online grocery purchases. You also have 2 points per dollar spent on all other travel and 1 point per dollar spent on all other purchases. And so these two cards work well together because you can transfer your points, aka the Chase Ultimate Rewards, from your Chase Freedom Flex to the Chase Sapphire Preferred card account and redeem them for travel through Chase's online portal, in which case they are worth 25% more. Think about it, 25% more. And so that's one option. That's one strategy here that a lot of people do. Another option is to transfer them to one of Chase's multiple travel partners at a 1-to-1 ratio. So using both strategically is key though. For example, you want to use the Chase Freedom Flex when it's earning 5% cash back on products or services you already buy. And most of the time, using the Chase Sapphire Preferred card on dining and travel is ideal, unless, of course, the Chase Freedom Flex is featuring restaurants as a 5% bonus retailer. Remember, those 5% categories are rotating. So every quarter they rotate. So maybe this quarter it can be one bonus category, and then the next one will be another. So you have to keep track of those. I want to talk to you about our pairing for families. So when we talk about families, we're talking about the Blue Cash Preferred card from American Express and Wells Fargo Active Cash card. So if you've got a lot of hungry mouths to feed, the Blue Cash Preferred card from American Express can be a valuable companion here. Why? Because it earns, think about it, a whopping 6% cash back at U.S. supermarkets on up to $6,000 in spending per year. So that's about what, $500 every month. You have 6% back on select U.S. streaming subscriptions. You have 3% back on transit, including U.S. gas stations, and 1% back on everything else. So again, of course, terms apply, but this is kind of cool. So this card actually comes with a fee, and it's currently $0. So they actually have promos from time to time. So it's $0 for the first year. So that's the intro. Then you have $95. But the cool thing is, if you spend at least $31 a week at the supermarket, you will make up for that cost in rewards. So, you have a win-win situation here for you, but also for American Express. So that's for the American Express Blue Cash Preferred card. And then you have the Wells Fargo Active Cash card. So you want to use that card for what? Groceries, Netflix, and gas, and pair it with a card like the $0 annual fee, no annual fee, Wells Fargo Active Cash card, which basically happens to earn 2% cash back on all purchases. The cool thing about this American Express, the Blue Cash Preferred, is that, when you talk about 6% cash back at US supermarkets, everybody goes to a supermarket. Everybody buys at a supermarket. Everybody's going to use that, especially for families. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Right? It's a no-brainer. If you have a family, if you have a lot of mouths to feed, you are going to go to a supermarket no matter what. So this is really great, and you just have to have the proper setup, and it is what it is. So 6% is really good, and you also have 6% back on select U.S. streaming subscriptions, 3% back on transit, including U.S. gas stations, and 1% back on everything else. And it's just fantastic. Let me talk to you about our pairing for everyday purchases. So when we talk about everyday purchases, we're talking about something very powerful. We have the Citi Premier card and the Citi Custom Cash card. So the $95 annual fee Citi Premier card and Citi Custom Cash card are an excellent duo for everyday use. So if you're looking for a great duo for everyday use, go with those two cards. What happens here is that the Citi Premier card earns 3 thank you points per dollar spent on air travel and hotels, 3 points at supermarkets, 3 points at gas stations, and 3 points at restaurants. This is really good. Everything else earns 1 point per dollar. And some of these categories have the potential to overlap with those on the Citi Custom Cash card, which earns, by the way, 5% back on up to $500 spent on your highest spend category per billing cycle from a list of 10 options. So this is really cool. All other purchases earn 1% back, and rewards are earned as a thank you points. The eligible 5% categories include grocery stores, restaurants, gas purchases. You have also restaurants, of course, gas stations, streaming services, drug stores, home improvement stores, fitness clubs, select travel, select transit, and live entertainment. And you can actually give the Citi Custom Cash card one job and use it only to spend in one category you are likely to max out. For instance, you can max it out with groceries, and instead of defaulting to a 1% cashback, you could move your groceries spending to the Citi Premier, right? This is really brilliant. And what will happen here is that if you don't want to keep track of that, use the Citi Custom Cash regularly in a 5% category that doesn't overlap. And the cool thing is that rewards earned on both cards redeemed for cashback and travel at the same value. And other redemption options may actually vary though. So, the convenience here is there. The only thing is you just need a little bit of maintenance to actually follow through everything here. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about the best credit card setup. Let me give you a bonus here. So, what are the benefits of combining credit cards, by the way? Because a lot of people want to combine credit cards. You're thinking about, credit card setup. Now, if you are currently making monthly payments on multiple credit cards, you may be able to combine them into a single credit card with one payment each month through a balance transfer. So when we talk about combining credit cards, we're not just speaking about having rewards. You have to also look at the fact that you can save money on APR, having a low APR. Obviously, when you have rewards, this is really cool. But if you can have a lower APR, this is fantastic also. So when we talk about combining credit cards, besides the rewards, you need to think about saving money. If you have good credit, you may qualify for a lower interest rate when you combine multiple credit card accounts. Lower interest rates mean lower payments, which may help you save money on any debt that you owe. And many balance transfer cards offer an introductory interest rate of 0% on transferred balances. However, note that once the intro period is over, interest will be applied to the balance. So that's number one. You also have improved credit score. So combining credit cards could potentially benefit your credit score. So transferred accounts are paid off when you combine credit cards, and you will only have to make a single payment instead of multiple payments, which can really reduce the risk of missing payments. And payment history has a big impact, accounting for about 35% of your total score. And you also have the fact that it's very easy to manage. Having one card instead of multiple cards is a lot easier to manage. You won't have to worry about keeping track of the balances on multiple cards or shuffle through your wallet to make sure that you are using the right credit card really. So this is kind of cool. And we love the fact that, besides combining rewards. You also have the ability to manage debts because you're combining all the debt into one or two. The bottom line here is that you want to have some of the combos that I just spoke about. And again, just make sure that those combos are in sync with your family's lifestyle, with your lifestyle or your family's or family lifestyle. This is really important. And you also need to pay attention to what you need to pay attention to the bottom line in terms of having the right cards all the time. Now, of course, there are downsides to a balance transfer. This for sure. You might have a higher credit utilization ratio. You might have hard inquiries. You might have increased interest rates. Let me close today's conversation by giving you a few pro tips so we are all on the same page. Now, should you consider combining credit cards at all? Yes. So you might want to think about it if you want to get better rewards. You want to get better rates, better rewards rate, better perks. This is totally fine. Or also if you want to look at on the APR side and let's say you have high APR, you have high rates, and you're trying to really get lower rates, yes. Or you want to simplify debt management, this is totally possible also. So the bottom line here is that you have to think about what really works for your family, because the same thing is that you need to pay attention to what's great for your family. And so to combine credit cards, you really want to find out your balance, okay? You want to shop for balance transfer cards. You want to make sure the debts can be transferred. Again, when we talk about debts that you accumulated through a balance or like a rewards credit card, let's say the sort of matchup that I spoke to you in today's conversation, the pairing that I spoke to you about, the cashback, the pairing for families, the pairing for everyday purchases, the pairing for frequent travelers, the pairing for cashback. When you have those sort of setups, you have debts and you're dealing with debt, with credit score, like when you're dealing with that level of credit worthiness, then you really need to pay attention to your financial history. In other words, it's not about just combining credit cards because you're trying to really earn rewards, because you're trying to combine credit cards in rotating categories. It's also because you need to really make sure that whatever you're charging on the card makes sense from a budgetary perspective. Because when you have a family, when you have many mouths to feed, of course, you have to stay alive, but you also need to manage your finances to the best of your ability. So this is where combining credit cards can help. Not only in terms of helping you with rewards, but also helping you reduce the APR sort of the APR ding that you might have if you were to apply again to an institution. So this is an important element to really keep in mind, to understand that at the end of the day, it's all about having the proper documentation. It's all about having the proper sort of feedback from our friends and family. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I spoke to you about the best credit card setup, and I give you the overview, the approach. So I talked to you about our pairing for cashback, our pairing for frequent travelers, our pairing for families, and our pairing for everyday purchases. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.